Good morning, folks. Here we are, Cowboy Bob and Corey at Heartline Ranch. And as we promised, we brought out one of our rescue horses. Now, this was a rescue a few years ago. Not a brand new rescue, but this is Shizanee. Some of you are fairly familiar with her already, as she has been in the news and stuff because of some of her trials and tribulations. But when we got her, and I'm going to move back here so everybody can get a better look at her. You can see she's nice and healthy now. You have no idea how difficult it was to get her up to that weight, because she was drastically underweight and had literally been almost starved to death. It was really rough time. But she's, as you see, that's Corey's pet.
She's my baby.
Yeah.
Her name, Shizanee, in Navajo means I am lucky. When we rescued her, she was more than 500 pounds underweight. Her neck, you could see the tissue between her vertebrae. You could see all of this. Her hips looked like plates stacked together. And she wasn't peaceful like this. Now she's peaceful. Lets you handle her face and her eyes and her neck. And those of you that know about her injury that she had her neck torn open 14 inches from here over to here, and this is the scar that's left over, and the hair completely grew over it and everything. So she's not sure what you're doing.
I'm just going to give them a close-up look of how
You can see
well this healed.
Dents in right there.
That's very hard to find.
You can go on Bob's blog, heartlineranch.blog, and see the pictures of what the injury looked like. And it was very traumatic, and we didn't know she'd make it. She and I are really bonded with each other. I mean, she's 16 too, and so I'm 5'1", I should have a short little horse. And Bob kept trying to get me to go with a shorter horse, but Shizanee and we're really bonded with each other, aren't we, baby? Good. And she's just such a good girl. She's muscular now, and her story was very dramatic, both with the rescue and with the injury that she had right after we moved here. And when I rescued her, I didn't know as much about horses as I do now, and putting her in a halter seemed like a challenge at the time. No, we're not going to nibble right now. She just had breakfast, and she is in love with the greenery that we have around here, these little short...
She's in love with eating, period.
Gross things.
She says she starved once. She doesn't care to do it again.
She's starved anymore. Anyway, in the state of Colorado, you can't have a stable and feed some horses and not others. You'd lose your license. And that's basically how we got her, because she was being not fed because the people that owned her weren't feeding the stable, weren't paying the stable anymore. And so he quit feeding them. He fed them about once a week or something. It wasn't great. She and Lacan together. These flies, huh? We have some fly stuff. It works pretty good, but in late August, the flies still try and take over.
Well, the thing about that some people don't remember or weren't aware of, back when we had that recession, there were a lot of horses just being abandoned everywhere. And basically that's what happened here. Basically, she just got abandoned, and they left her in a stable, but they couldn't afford to pay the bill anymore. And the owner made the decision, which I don't believe was the right decision, but he made the decision that he wasn't going to feed her any more than he had to keep her alive, because he didn't want to pay for it out of his own pocket. And the people that had her, they were broke. There was nothing they could do about it.
Well, they could have.
Well, you don't know that now, Corey.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I take a more positive spin. Corey's more militant about it. Basically, they just ran out. The truth is, they just ran out of money and couldn't take care of her anymore. And instead of giving her away, they just left her there, where she'd been boarded for several years. And he could have done the right thing and kept feeding her while he was trying to find her a home, but he didn't care to do that either. You know, how these things happen, it's always a mystery to me. How could anyone be so mean? So, anyhow, when we went down there and we saw her, Corey had to have her, and I wanted her for also, of course, because look at her. She's a gorgeous, beautiful horse, and she's a great ride. So we're standing there trying to figure out how to get her out of there, because she and Lacan, who you'll meet in a couple of days, they were both living in this stall that was maybe 10 by 20, maybe, and hadn't been cleaned. I mean, there was horse poop everywhere, and it was a pathetic sight to see. And I was trying to tell Corey that we needed to get this horse out of there. So we agreed that we would take her. We didn't have a horse trailer with us, so we had to leave so we could come back with a horse trailer. Yep. So that was kind of a fun thing to do. But I'll let Corey tell you a little bit more about it, because it's a funny joke in our house, and I tell everybody that was a day that I really screwed up. I sent my wife to go pick up a horse, because we were only going to take one. There were two there that he wanted us to take, but I thought we'd be better off taking one at a time. So she wanted this horse, Shizanee, and so she left to go down to get her with a friend, and they had a 3-horse trailer. So they came back with 2 horses. And I said, Corey, I thought we had talked that we weren't going to bring in but 1 horse at a time. And the best answer I could get was we had lots of room, and that horse was in a miserable place, and I wanted to help her. And if you'd been there, you would have done the same thing.
Well, but basically, thinking that if nothing else, you could find her a better home than he was finding her, you know. And then my daughter fell in love with Lacan. So. Well,
the funny story in the house has always been never send Corey anywhere to pick up a horse if there's 2 or 3 horses will fit in the trailer, because she won't come back with only one.
Cheryl Armstrong is my good buddy.
You can.
What?
You can be in charge some.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to take in charge of the camera for a little bit here. So Shizanee is the horse that Bob used to teach me about horse care and training. And she's big, so at first I was intimidated by her size. And I kind of let her run over top of me, as far as I let her have her way. I spoil her a lot. And Bob tells me that
still do.
that I still do, yes. It's hard not to spoil her when she's so sweet. But when we take people on horse rides, he has to use her a lot for other people to ride. So I don't get to ride her quite as often as you would think. But because she's so dependable. She's so good. So she's been my main horse. She's, let me back it off a little bit so you can see her. She is so well muscled and so beautiful. Anybody riding her always comes back in love with her. She's just amazing.
Tell her about the friend in Germany.
Oh yeah, I have a friend in Germany who has said if she ever goes missing, she's over here with me. So Shizanee would be over there. If she has a panic, like sometimes she's narcoleptic, and she'll doze off while you have her at a hitching post. But I kind of love up on her when I'm tacking her up and brushing her, and so she and I have this little love fest every morning, and it relaxes her. And so then she's supposed to go out on a ride, and I put her in the round pen now because she'll just kind of like stretch out and doze and pull everything down with her halter. So I tack her up.
Lay right down.
Yeah, she'll just lay right down, tack and all. So I tack her up in this round pen right here and leave her loose while she's tacked up so that she doesn't pull anything down when she dozes off. And then watch her real close. But at times she's kind of a klutz sometimes, and she's gotten herself in some real panicky situations. And I feel honored that if I call at her and yell, tell her it's okay, wait, she'll stay still, and she'll wait until I can untangle her and Bob too, because one time she had her legs cast through a fence. Cast means the front of her hooves. All 4 of them were in a fence. And so I had to put the rope around her neck to pull her one way. And Bob sat on her belly to dislocate her hooves out of the fence. It was kind of scary, but she let us do it. She trusts us.
Yeah, it worked out great, but I wouldn't advise it.
No. No, she's an amazing girl. So I'm going to walk around this way so you can see her face. She's got a really expressive face. Hi, baby. Hi. And she has a certain kind of nicker for me. I know when she's calling me, when I hear her nicker. Huh. Yes. I know, you're so sweet. You're my baby.
And she's been a stable, she's been one of our main riding horses with other people now for 4 years.
We brought her from Colorado with us.
Yeah. And she did it in Colorado also.
Yep. She did.
She's a pretty good horse. She's probably taken, what do you think, 1,000 people for
Oh,
horse rides?
easily. Easily.
You know, you can't say that about every horse.
No. No.
And she's still a good horse. You know, most horses that you can ride that much, and they get to be kind of really just slow.
Or barn sour.
And you have to kick them constantly. They're difficult to get them to move. We don't allow that.
She's
here at
not
the
that
ranch.
way.
Our horses are all responsive. We make sure that they don't become barn sour, and we want them to be able. We want you to have a good ride, and we want you to, when you're on them, to enjoy it. Now the downside with her, she's part Tennessee Walker. So
She walks fast. Her legs, I'm going to back off so you can
she's
see it.
fast. She walks fast.
Her legs are tall and thin. She's got, compared to some horses, she's got kind of a delicate frame, as big and as strong as she is. Her legs are thin and long.
She's got that Tennessee Walker build. And I'll tell you,
Just a good
it's
girl.
so funny because you'll go out and she'll be riding in front sometimes, and you know, she's ahead maybe 10, 15 yards, 20 yards max. And she's like that for a little while, and she's not, you look at her gait, she's not going out that much faster, right? Give yourself about a quarter mile, and all of a sudden she's 100 yards ahead of everybody. And she didn't pick up speed, and they didn't lose speed. She just walks faster.
I want to show people one of the things that I look at with her, see if I can get the side of her face. She has a bear. I guess I gotta do it this way. She has like a native bear over her eye. See that? Looks like a bear kind of print over her eye. And she has a handprint on her side, which is native markings right there. Looks like a hand right there. So she already came decorated. She already came decorated. She's just an amazing spirit. Just wondering why I'm...
All right. She's looking for Corey again. I ride her more than Corey does this year, but...
No, sir.
Well, I have to.
Well, maybe so.
And, but Corey,
I always tack her up.
she's always looking for Corey.
Come on, baby.
They have a great bond. Unfortunately for Corey, with me taking all the rides, and her being such a dependable horse, she's been ridden by other people far more this year than by her. But our season's going to be a little slower and coming up, and Corey will be able to get a lot more riding time in.
Yeah.
But this is Shizanee. She's a great horse. We're going to introduce new ones to you each day. We've got some. We're bringing out the oldies first. You know, nothing against the new ones. They're wonderful too, or they wouldn't be here. And we'll.
Look at this plant. Of all things, she likes this better than grass.
Yeah, there's some kind of green plant that grows here that most of them don't like that well, but she just adores it. Causes some bad behavior sometime if that stuff's growing, let me tell you. Because she says she's never going to be skinny again. And I don't know if I can blame her there.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we got a little bit of a rainstorm getting ready to head our way. I'm hopeful. We got a little hay to put up yet. I'm hoping that we get that hay put up before it starts raining. But anyhow,
Film me taking her back.
go ahead, Corey, and take her back. And we'll, you and I are going to start moving hay. We picked up some hay last night and thought, wow, it was miserably hot. Let's just wait and do it in the morning. And then in the morning, we had several interruptions because of the campground. And then we decided we'd do this episode before it starts raining. Not supposed to be much of a rain, but any rain is not a good idea to stand out and do a film in. So there we go, folks. Hope everybody enjoyed it. And then Friday, we're going to have another horse. Friday, we're going to bring Lacan out, and we're going to introduce everybody to her. She's a fine horse in her own right. She's got some funny quirks I'm going to tell you about, but it'll be interesting. All right, this is Cowboy Bob from Heartline Ranch saying happy trails to all.